Hi, I'm Dan, and today I want to help you understand how you can balance the Sony NX70 on the Steadicam Merlin 2. First things first, the camera plate needs to be attached to the camera. Now what you need to do is figure out where the center of gravity might be in this camera. And the way you do that is you put your finger at different points on the camera and imagine if you had to balance it on that point, where would the optimum space be to give you a good balance? In this camera, it's somewhere here. So what I've done is I've taken my camera plate. Now the camera plate has A to O actually imprinted onto all these different holes. And what you want to be doing is putting the center of gravity where you think it is around about the H mark. So that means I've screwed this plate into the M hole for the NX70. Next thing you have to do is mount that onto the stage onto the Merlin 2. So there we go. Now what we intend to try and do is put the center of gravity slightly behind the center stage here of the column. Now what you've got at the minute is a very top-heavy camera on what is essentially a pendulum. So what we need to do is add weight here to bring this into the upright position. Now we've done the work for you. We've worked out you need a start weight and 3 mid weights on this particular configuration. Now, before I go any further, what you need to make sure and do is bring your screen out of your camera, because that's what you're going to operate from, and that actually has a massive effect on the mass of the camera. One more thing before we go is you'll notice this whole thing's just tilting up, so we need to put a weight here to bring this into a static position. This is called a nose weight. And in most situations, unless you're using a heavy lens, a single start weight will give you what you need. So there we go. We're in a position now where we've got a reasonably good starting point. It's tilting up slightly, so I'm going to use the trim controls here to tilt down. 1, 2. Try to do everything with a half turn or a quarter turn, because it's amazing how much that quarter or half turn will have an impact on your final balance. There you go, that's tilting down now a little bit, so go up half, split the distance. There we go. So we've now got a point where we are actually balanced on this axis as well. Sometimes you get lucky. Okay, so backwards and forwards, looking nice and stable. Side to side, also looking very stable. The final thing we need to affect is what's called the drop time, and that's the amount of time it takes for the bottom weight to drop down to the bottom. Now that's a little bit fast. To affect that, you use this adjustment here. You can turn this one turn and see what effect that has. One, almost. Let's turn it another one. So I'm extending this distance here. And it's a bit like on a regular Steadicam, sliding the stage up and down, or the gimbal should I say. So 1, 2, we've got a nice slow drop time. That should now give us a very nice balanced camera to work with. Easy when you know how, but it does take a bit of practice, and keep persevering.